All right, what's up, everybody? This is Cody, aka DFS Prodigy, coming to you live with Daily Fantasy Talk Show, breaking down the PGA Masters, which is basically the Super Bowl or the World Series of sports, but for PGA. So we're breaking down the core fives of who we like. We're not going to do a breakdown of each player. We want to do a quick core five, basically bringing out who we like, who we don't like, or who we like for the most part. Before we begin, though, like usual, hit the like button for me. Always subscribe. And how's it going, Ricky?
Oh, it's going good, man. I've been listening to a ton of podcasts, doing some research and stuff. I'm big into this one. I'm going at least 5 entries in the Millie Maker.
Right. So, like usual, we're going to start range by range. But before we begin talking about this course, what do you think of the course for this year compared to November?
Yeah. So it's two different courses, man. I mean, like November, it was really wet. The greens were really soft, and that's why all the scoring records were broken and all that. DJ put up -20. Don't expect to see those scores again. It's probably going to be in that 5 under to 10 under range. So definitely don't panic if your guy doesn't, get 5 birdies, in round one. It's a completely different course. It's going to play firm and fast. Driving distance is going to be huge here, as well as just one stat I've really heard is avoiding free putts. So if you get your decent putters on there, even a guy who is not necessarily known for his putting but can get hot with the putter, those are the guys you want to get in this one.
Right. And one interesting stat that I saw is that they have sub air underneath the greens now. So basically, if there's any moisture, it's going to suck it immediately. So all the ball is going to travel way faster because of the sub air underneath the course, which I thought that was really interesting to me, how they can literally do that underneath a golf course, is just have that sub air basically. So I like it. I think this is going to be way different than November. So I'm not taking November really into a huge effect because, like you said, there was breaking scores left and right. It's not the same now. It's completely different than November. So don't expect the same scores. Don't expect the same guys to be the same way they were. So take that with a grain of salt, obviously. So it's going to be different. I'm ready to go, though. Basically, I cannot wait to break down the Masters. So starting with the 11 to 10K range, who is your core pick in this range?
Yeah, a lot of people are on Bryson just because of his ability to drive the ball. Driving distance is really important here. But the one thing to remember about Bryson is he's not really a mature golfer. He is going to try to swing for the fences. He's like that kid in Little League that is like bigger than everyone else and thinks that he can hit a home run every time. He's going to go for the fences. He's going to put it in the rough quite a bit. But the thing to remember also is his irons have improved massively since last year. He ranks in the top 20 in irons this year so far, compared to last year, he was like 120th or something like that. So his iron play has really improved. So even when he hits it in the rough, he's still going to have a good chance of putting it on the green. I really like Bryson here, but I think my core pick for this range, since I know so much ownership is going to go to Bryson, is going to be to Jon Rahm. He has the new dad vibe going on. He just had his newborn, so we don't have to worry about him withdrawing. And for some reason, new dads have done really well at the Masters. I don't know if that's just coincidence or not. But Jon Rahm, there's no flaw in his game. He's a great player. He's a mature player. And I think he's got a really good shot of having lower ownership than guys like Bryce and JT and definitely could pop off. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I'm definitely on the similar guys. I'm slightly over more so on Bryson because of his change in the irons. Ever since he's changed irons, it's been clicking and been on a heater ever since then. So I think the swagger that he carries on the course, I think that's going to do well for him. I think it's hard to trust Dustin Johnson. It's hard to trust Rory right now. And the putter for Justin Thomas is iffy. So I'm going with the 2 polished players who I know will stand out a little bit more so than the other guys in this range. But you don't certainly have to go to this range, in my opinion. But if you do want to, Bryson would be my guy at 10-8. And then, like you said, we don't have to worry about the baby whole situation. So with Jon Rahm, he's a Spaniard. The polished game is there. They typically do well here. We've seen Sergio thrive here. So I'm liking both those guys, but I'm slightly more on Bryson. Dropping down to the 9K range, who is your core pick here?
Yeah, Cantlay, he's going to be popular this weekend. It's well warranted. He's best on tour and tee to green from the beginning of the year, which is a huge stat for Augusta. A lot of guys who have won the Masters previous years have been ranked in the top. I think the lowest ranked in tee to green was Patrick Reed when he won. But other than that, guys have been first, guys have been third. That's a really sticky stat here. And right now, Cantlay is one of the best, actually the best on tour. But a guy that's getting a lot of the talk is Jordan Spieth, and I know you're way off of him because of ownership, but you can't ignore the course history there. I think at his price, he doesn't even need to win. He just needs to get like a top 15, top 20 to really pay off that price. So I'm a little more on Spieth than I know you are. But Spieth and Cantlay are my two guys in the 9K range.
I'm mainly on Cantlay for this range. I think the ownership's warranted for him because of the ball striking's there. The game is thriving. I think it's a misprice. I think he can be priced over at Xander, in my opinion. I think he can easily be in the 10K range. And basically, just his style of play fits this course extremely well. And he's one of the guys that you can trust easily to thrive on this course. But Jordan Spieth, like you said, I don't trust him. I don't like his ownership at all. But if you want to go to one more guy who is my kind of point A to point B with Patrick Cantlay is Patrick Reed. I love Patrick Reed here. I think literally he can play his game here and win every single week in and week out on this course. I think the Captain America vibe is all his. I think he can easily do well here. And Patrick Reed, he's kind of my like I said, my point A to point B with Cantlay and Reed. If you want to go to someone in this 9K range, but dropping down to this 8K range, who's your lock in the 8K range?
Honestly, the 8K range is tough for me. I honestly went right over it, except for my boy Matthew Fitzpatrick. I think everyone else in the 8K range is kind of meh. Sung Jae obviously came runner up in November, but his game right now is just very weird. He's good off the tee, he's good on the greens, but his iron play has been terrible. So I'm not going to trust him there. But I do love Matthew Fitzpatrick. He's been playing great golf. He's been finishing in really good spots. He's been top 10ing in these big fields that have been really competitive, like the Arnold Palmer and the Players. He's played really well. And he was known as a short game specialist when he first broke into the PGA Tour. And he's kind of putting everything together now. He's got the driver now. His irons still need a little work, but I think he certainly has a short game to be able to makes a par save that he needs to. I think he's a guy that's getting a lot of buzz, and I think it's well warranted because at that price, he doesn't need to do too much other than make the cut and then have maybe a top 30 finish. So Matthew Fitzpatrick is really my only lockdown here. And one thing I just want to touch on before we jump to you, Cam Smith played super well in November. Now, because of that, his ownership is going to be way too high. He's a good golfer, don't get me wrong. But these are two completely different courses that they're playing now. So this course can be a lot faster, like we talked about in the beginning. And I think Cam Smith is going to struggle a little bit more with that. And I don't think you should be as heavy on him as I know a lot of people will be. So let's jump to you, man.
Yeah, for me, it's mainly I like Fitzpatrick to a point, but I also do love me some Daniel Berger here. I think at 8.5, he can do well here. The game, like similar to Cantlay, it can definitely thrive here in the style he plays. The 4 that he has is definitely safe for the points wise. If we go back and look at his points, like his 4 is extremely well at the price tag that he has. So in my opinion, 8.5 is a great price tag for him. I think the game is all the way there. I think you can trust him way more than Scotty Scheffler at 8.4 or Hideki at 8.3 or even Cam Smith at 8.2. So in my opinion, you either pay up for Daniel Berger or you go down to 8.1 for a Matthew Fitzpatrick because I'm not trusting any of these other 8K guys. Like I know Westwood can do well here, but at the same time, it's Westwood. Hatton is a no-go. A lot of these guys are just hard to trust in this 8K range other than Daniel Berger, and I like the ceiling that Fitzpatrick does have. So the 8K range is kind of weird. In my opinion, it's iffy, but dropping down to the 7K range where I know there's a few plays that I do love down here. Who do you like in the 7K range?
7K range, I think, is better than the 8K range, to be honest with you. I think Sergio definitely is a good option here at 7.9. Obviously, plays really well at Augusta. Adam Scott's another one who's probably not being talked about as much, but he's made pretty much every cut that he's played here. And obviously, you can see he's 10 for 10 on cuts right now. That's between the Euro and PGA. Usti, another guy who really plays well here. But my favorite play down here is going to be Joaquin Niemann. And for some reason, oh yeah, there he is. He's in my lineup. I'm looking at my DraftKings screen on my laptop behind me, and I didn't see him, but he's in my lineup, so that would be why. But Joaquin Niemann, he is very underrated when it comes to driving. A lot of people think he's a short hitter, but he actually ranks on the top 5 of driving distance this year so far. And he can definitely putt really well as well. He's a guy who is a young guy, and he doesn't have a ton of experience here at the Masters, but he certainly has all the tools, and I really like him here if he can carry some low ownership into the weekend.
So I have 2 guys in this range, kind of like I had earlier with A to B, that you can definitely go with. My number 1 guy would definitely be a Paul Casey at 7-7. There's no absolute reason why that he should be priced in the 7K range. So, I mean, I think he can easily be in the top 8K range, in my opinion, easily based on the way he's been playing. The game is there for him. He does well in this price range. If you trust him more than Jason Day with his back or Justin Rose with his back, I absolutely don't. I'd rather go much to Paul Casey. There's really no reason around it. There's not much to say about Paul Casey. Look at the way he's been playing. Look at the recent form. It's all there. It's all clicking. He should be able to go in this weekend with a top 5 easily on this range. Another guy that ever since I've talked about how his mental game has changed his game entirely is Max Homa. Ever since he went on a podcast and basically said that his mental game has changed, he's looked at all the mentals and basically stated that he needed to mentally be focused. His game has been on fire. So ever since then, I've been all in on Max Homa every single course that you can possibly play him on. His price tag has never changed other than being in the 7K range. You'll be surprised if it's ever in the 8K or even high 7K range. So Max Homa, I think he's on a tear. I think this game is all there for him. I think he's going to make one more final stance in the Masters and look well here. So I'm loving those 2 guys. I like this 7K range a lot more than the 8K range, like you were saying. I mean, we have a debut of Will C. It'll be interesting to see how he does. It'll be interesting to see how Niemann does. I like him. But like you said, the 7K range is definitely well. But dropping down to the lower now, the 6K range for value, who do you like down here, man?
Yeah, 6K range, Corey Connors. Let's call him just Chalk City here. And it's very well warranted. Played really well here in November. Obviously, like I said, it's a different course, so we'll see how it translates. But he's just in really good form right now. His irons are fantastic, much better than the 6.9 price that he has currently. But another guy who's being talked about that I really like is Kokrak. Kokrak really good off the tee. Has been playing really well. Been playing well in some tough fields. Has 4 top 10s on the year. And I think that he's a pivot off of Corey Connors if you wanted to take a different 6'9" guy. But I certainly wouldn't want to talk you out of playing Corey Connors or Jason Kokrak this week, as well as another guy who I like a little lower is Ryan Palmer. I think he's a way mispriced for the value he can bring. Really good fantasy scores, really good birdie or better player. And he is much more volatile than those guys. So obviously I wouldn't go 100% on him, but I would definitely want to sprinkle him in as he's someone who can definitely be in that optimal lineup.
Yeah, for me, like you said, I'm going to eat the chalk and I'm going to take all of Corey Connors I possibly can at 6'9". He fits in the lineup well. There's absolutely no reason why he should be also priced in this range. I think he could be higher priced than Perez or Molinari, in my opinion. But I definitely do like me some Corey Connors. The course, like you said, it fits him well. The ball striking's all the way there for him. His history here for sure is what I'm liking also past November. So it all kind of clicks for him. There's not a lot in this scale range I like, though, but the core pick would be Corey Connors. So before we head out of here, do you have any last closing thoughts, my man?
No, I mean, it's going to be fun. It's the Masters. There's going to be a lot of guys who really pop off that we've touched on. I really think we've hit the guys who are going to do well. So I'm excited for Thursday. That's all I can say.
Right. It's basically the Super Bowl Thursday. So I'm excited for it. I'm excited to watch the Masters. I think this is going to be a great course. And I think the core that we gave out is definitely will be intact. So like I always said, always hit that like button for me and definitely subscribe. Go check him out at Daily Fantasy Talk Show. And that wraps up this slate for us guys. So thank y'all for tuning in. Have a good one, everybody.